People like things that are comfortable, that you know. The unknown is sometimes scary. Don't want to venture into that. So when I hear more and more about Joe Flacco, goes on Sirius XM radio yesterday, and he's continuing the narrative. I want to come back to the Browns. I would like that to be an option. People are going to dive into that. They go back to what he did last year, the known, the comfortability that you have of what you saw for a month's worth of football with Joe Flacco. And when I come off a little negative about the whole situation, people say that, oh, I'm crapping on Joe Flacco, or I don't think he's very good, or the Browns could do better at the backup quarterback position, or what that means about Deshaun Watson. And I guess maybe it's some of that for me. I just come back to when I see a guy like him who's clearly making the push to come back to Cleveland, I just question why. And I know people are jumping on tweets, and I love Hayden Grove from Cleveland.com, and I retweeted what he said yesterday about maybe he just loves the Browns, and what a great statement that is about the Browns organization and how well they're run and how much Joe Flacco wants to be here. Sure, that's fine. Me, I'm going to take it to the next level down. I got to dig a little bit deeper on this. And I think something that Joe Flacco said yesterday on Sirius XM radio validates one of my points. It validates what I'm kind of searching for in this whole thing with Joe Flacco. I know the fans want him back. Reportedly, the Browns would love to have him back, and Flacco wants to come back. That seems like a win-win-win, right? It can never be that easy. And when it is that easy, that makes me uneasy about it. We'll get to that. Cavs with a tough one last night. We got to talk wine and gold. Injury update on Evan Mobley. Feeling good. 2 for 2 today, right on our immaculate grid. We got our typical boots. We got the morning update. We got time up. We got it all for you right here on a Thursday edition on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. I'm actually going to read. Sorry. There's not as many wires over there, but I got a few running today. So I'm going to retweet our bracket of your favorite East Side bar because we'll set the finals. We have to have a discussion about this a little later, Ryan. Do we actually want to run the finals this week, or our fifth and final week have every day be the finals? I have a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we run it where we have one winner this week, or do we take our final four and push them to the final week? I've got a thought on it.
We could always just make the final one like
a week long.
Keep it up for
that
like 4
is
days.
my idea. Is either we take a winner each week, which, folks, if you don't know, we're doing the best bar in Cleveland, month-long bracket. It's East Side up today, Black Forest, Fairmount, Scorchers, and Academy Tavern. I got a text yesterday. Shout out to Dan from well, if we talk, I don't want to spoil his alter ego, but my buddy Dan texted me. He goes, I'm glad Fairmount made it. They're in Group 3 right now. They're looking up at Scorchers though. And then Group 4, Happy Moose out to a lead there. So vote at that. At Matt Fontaine 83. We'll get to our bracket coming up a little bit later. We'll talk about the Cavs. I mean, I give them credit for trying to come back on the Hawks. Our parlay almost lived because we had the Cavs money line. I was feeling pretty good about it for a little bit. Cavs just went cold. I think they ran out of gas. Update on Evan Mobley is the week with the ankle. We'll see how that goes. A litany of ankle injuries all of a sudden now. LeBron's been dealing with it. Wembanyama's got one now. And Evan Mobley. So we'll discuss a little bit of Cavs coming up as well. We start with Joe Flacco because has he not ramped up his love for the Cleveland Browns recently, Ryan? Would you say that's a fair statement from my side of things over here, that his devotion to the Browns has ramped up over the last couple of days?
Well, I think if anybody heard what he had to say, you would certainly say so.
But I mean, even beyond serious, there's been reports that have been coming out and all that. So I want to start things out by just playing the clip from SiriusXM NFL yesterday, because there are some things that Flacco said, and it's no different than, again, what we've been hearing, right? He would like to come back to the Browns. From Mary Kay Cabot's reporting, the Browns would like to have him back. I looked at Mitch Trubisky's deal yesterday, and he's going back to the Buffalo Bills. And I know, how would you say compare Mitch Trubisky to Joe Flacco? I'm talking about backup type deals. And I think he got a 2-year deal with incentives up to $8 million. You could probably offer that to Joe Flacco. 2-year deal, spread the money around. Maybe he likes a little of the security, guaranteed money, playtime incentives. Sure, get that figured out. So I'm just saying about the going rates for a backup quarterback. But even beyond that, it has been made known that this is his preferred. If I want to play it, because it's not like if somebody comes to him and offers him a starting deal at $15 million, he's not coming back to the Browns. But what Flacco said yesterday on SiriusXM NFL, everybody, I want to listen. There's something he said I'm going to point to that I think is very important. Here it is, courtesy of our friends at SiriusXM NFL. Joe Flacco talking about his future.
So a report that you'd like to be back in Cleveland. Now, that would be in a different role with Deshaun Watson expected to be healthy. Obviously,
Right.
An opportunity would come if he got hurt. But what does Joe Flacco want? Is Cleveland your desired destination, or is it a place to go and have a chance to compete for a job?
Well, listen, I talked to my agent. I talked to Joe maybe this weekend. He was out in the combine, just kind of seeing, what kind of opportunities may be out there. I can tell you that, all things equal, Cleveland is definitely the place that I would feel best about. Now, that then you have to get into the world of, is somebody going to actually give me a chance to play, and all the different things that go into that. I can't help but have a special feeling about Cleveland just because of the few weeks that I spent there and how great the city was. And listen, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily want that to be a huge part of all of the decision, but I do think it will factor into the decision if I end up having a decision to make.
But you're comfortable with the notion that Deshaun Watson is going to come back and you would then be the backup to him in Cleveland?
Yeah, listen, obviously if I go back to Cleveland, then I'm going to have to, then I've wrapped my mind around that idea. Obviously I want to play football. That's also a really, really, really big factor, probably the biggest factor. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can really make that decision without any, hard things laid in front of you and sit down with your family and see what's best. Listen, there's all kinds of things I could take you through that would probably have a factor in my decision. We don't need to go into all those right now. So I can honestly say that Cleveland is an unbelievable place, and it definitely will hold a special value when I make those decisions.
All that, so much to unpack there. SiriusXM NFL, that was Joe Flacco. So a couple of things. Number one, he admitted that plate time is still the biggest factor for him, right? And he had to stop himself from saying a chance to compete against Deshaun Watson because he knows that's not the case at all if he comes here. The only way he's playing is if Deshaun Watson gets hurt. Then he talks about the other factors. Yeah, money. He said the playtime is still a big thing. The one thing that I jumped on was at the beginning. He talked to his agent who was at the combine. I just feel like Joe Flacco and his agent have started to get the idea that there might not be a lot of other jobs out there. There might not be a lot of playtime opportunities out there. And if he wants to at least be on a roster next year, Cleveland would be, again, when he said all things are equal. So what he's saying is if some other team comes calling and it's a backup role, he's going to come back to Cleveland because that is equal. They have a bona fide starter. It's not one of those bridge gap situations. If it's the same thing, the same money, the same amount of opportunity to play, he's going to come back to the Browns. Fine, I understand that. But when they started by saying, I talked to my agent, I can't help but connect the dots that they are getting the understanding that there might not be those other opportunities out there. So we need to start greasing the wheels to get back to Cleveland. He's playing the game. I'm not knocking Joe Flacco for that. But it's for so many people that are just blindly, oh my God, there's still a game to be played here, man. There is still money, millions of dollars on the line here. He wants to continue his career. I have to do this. He says one nice thing about the Browns and people are like, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, this is great. Oh my God, he loves us. Bring him back. He said something nice about the Browns. Give him all the money. We are so easily hooked in this town when any player says something nice about the Browns. If he'd have mentioned something about pierogies or the Rock Hall in there, people would be flying out to go find him to drag him back to Cleveland. I just don't get that hooked on it. And it's making me, I'm trying to make it out like Joe Flacco's some jerk. He's not. And I'm also not against him coming back. That's fine. It's just Ryan, he says a couple of nice things about the Browns that people go, oh my God, yes, please, God, come back. We need you, Joe. We need you to save us again. He's playing the game. He's playing it smart. You don't think he's been around a little while? He knows how to play the game. And I don't think there's, venom behind that. He's not doing it as a ploy. He's using a pod. Come on. We got to be smarter than that. And if you sit down and you take that out of it, you line up, okay, he had a great month of football. Great. He maybe fits this offense. He's 38 years old. He is 38 years old. And if he actually does have to play, it's because Deshaun Watson got hurt. You got a lot of other bigger problems to be had. And if you want to say he's just here as a stopgap, if he gets hurt and if that, whatever, fine. Then our question this morning about Deshaun Watson, do you think he'd be able to handle that? I know I want to ask about the fan base. I know we can't handle that. I know we can't. That's a fact. The question is, do you think Deshaun Watson can handle it? Do you even care? Because the other part of it is if you bring Flacco back, you are sending that message to Deshaun Watson, you better get right. Because if not, we are going to go over here. And I'm of the school, you need to play Deshaun Watson every single game that you can this year. Regardless of how bad he plays, the only way I'm taking Deshaun Watson off the field is if he's injured. Or if it becomes so blatantly apparent that he isn't it. If they want to rip that Band-Aid in October, I hope not October or November, and they just come out and they say, this was a bust. This whole trade, the money, the picks, the suspension, all of this with Deshaun Watson was a giant bust. He's going to move on, and we're going in this direction. If they want to make that decision in November, if he is just that apparently bad, and you need to then turn it over to Joe Flacco, Ryan, this season's probably not worth saving at that point anyway. I see all of these crossroads, all of these things with Joe Flacco coming back, and not a lot of them make sense to me. I really, there's not a lot. People are emotional with this, which I get. And again, I think Flacco is playing to the emotion a little bit. And he's emotional too. He probably loved it here. He had great memories. You're not going to recreate those. I doubt very highly you are going to recreate that situation with Joe Flacco. Because that also predicate that you had another situation that he had to go in there and play. The other thing about Joe Flacco, why don't you find then, if he really is the guy, and if this is the offense for him, and he is the perfect one to run the offense, just find me a younger version of that. That's the other thing. Like, Ryan, I feel like people have the opinion that Joe Flacco is the only one that can run this offense. Or that even if you want to have the idea that version of the offense is what we should be running, right? And that works. Why do you then think Joe Flacco is the only one that can do it? Seriously, I feel like it's gotten to a point that people are so invested in this, they feel like he is the only saving grace. And we get hooked on players. When they show us a little bit, we think they're it. It's the quarterback. I understand that. But if you really feel like what you got out of Joe Flacco is the key, then just go find me another version of Joe Flacco. Go find me a younger version of that quarterback. And maybe I'd have a discussion here. If we're talking about a 28-year-old Joe Flacco, and there's potential of him being your future if Watson goes belly up, I'm having a different conversation this morning. Of all these crossroads, of all of these reasons that people want to lay out to bring Flacco back, I guess I just negatively, which I don't like doing, Ryan, negatively, I have a comeback for every single one of them. And I just don't see that it, again, if he comes back, I'm not going to sit here and say this is a stupid move and I don't want him here. That's fine. But even for the Browns, because clearly they're interested, right? Is that a security thing? I don't want to use the word afraid, But is that a security thing where they just feel like he's their security blanket?
What I would prefer is you can find a quarterback. Well, this goes back to your point, Matt, is if people truly believe that Joe Flacco is the only one for some reason that can fix the offense.
Is that not how some people are viewing this? Like he's got to be the only key to this. And I'm just telling you, on just a number standpoint, that's not true.
People acting like, I think when you hear what Joe Flacco said, you have to pay attention to when he said all things equal. Yes, if a team, right, if he knows that he's going to be destined to be a backup, he's of course going to want to come to Cleveland. But if somebody else, he has an opportunity to be a bridge quarterback or anything, he's going to go play there. People are acting like Joe Flacco is like born and raised in Cleveland like LeBron was, thinking he needs to come break this title drought for the Browns. Like, yeah, I'm sure he wants to come here and play because he played so great. But at the end of the day, his goal is to play football. I don't think he necessarily cares who it's with. Like, at the end of the day, this isn't a Joe Flacco. Sure, he feels a little bit connected to Cleveland because we had a magical run here.
Of course he does.
But like, let's not pretend this is a guy who like has all these ties here and is like, oh, Cleveland, I got to play football here. I got to play football here. I got to get these Browns. I got to get them back to the holy land of the playoffs. Like, no, I mean, and back to your point, Matt, of people thinking that for some reason he's the only one that can fix this offense. Like, I don't understand why they think that.
It's because they saw it. Because it's tangible. It's easy. Well, recency, I guess, but also the fact that you saw it. And how quick it was. Think about it. I mean, it really is remarkable to see that he came in, borderline 3/4 of the way through the season. Correct me if I'm wrong. Watson got hurt. They signed him. He didn't play in that very next game.
No, because it's Denver.
Right. So he had a week.
So he played the Rams.
And then he came in against the Rams game.
Which we lost,
but he threw a lot there. And then you went on this run. So in about a 2-week turn, he flipped it around.
Yeah.
That's kind of another part of it, too. I'd rather dive into that of going, well, wait a minute. How did you get that turn so fast there? And, again, why can't you just do that, hopefully, with Deshaun Watson? And that comes back to Kevin Stefanski. That comes back to the offense, the X's and O's and all that kind of. I get it. I didn't know if I wanted to say this, but I'm just going to say it. And I don't know a better way to verbalize this to the people, so I'm just going to put it on out. Ryan, you clip this, you clip this. If you did it with Joe Flacco, it can't be that hard to do it with somebody else. Whether that somebody else is Deshaun Watson, whether that somebody else is another backup quarterback, whether that somebody else is our next version of Brock Purdy. When I see how quickly the Browns flipped it with Joe Flacco, and I want to give Flacco his due credit. He still had to make those throws, and he had, 17 years worth of experience in the NFL to make those throws. Maybe I'm making this out to sound too easy, but if you flipped it that easily, can't you just do that again? But people jump on. Well, we'll just do it again with we'll just do it again with Flacco.
People would be singing a different tune if it was Baker, right? And I understand that Baker had a little bit more success so far. Obviously, he took us to the playoffs, and Deshaun Watson's contract hasn't worked out yet. But what I'm saying is, if this was a Baker situation where he's coming off an injury, people wouldn't be singing this tune. It's their distaste for Deshaun Watson, which I understand because he hasn't been great these last 3 years that he's been here. But it's like they're letting how much they hate Deshaun, I feel like, because Joe Flacco is 39. Like, you can't just ignore the fact that he came off his couch. Yeah, he had a magical run, but that's probably not going to happen again. And even if it did, how far is that realistically going to get us? Deshaun is the only way that we managed to go to the Super Bowl. I'm like, there's no way around it.
No, I agree with that. And the thing is, this team is built. They're trying to go right now. So if the Browns wanted to sit down, let's talk about this of that security blanket that I mentioned. The Browns sitting down need to view sometimes the 10,000-foot view. And this is it. Take the names out of it. You have a team that went to the playoffs last year. Most every one of your impactful players, and I might even say all of your impactful players, are under contract for this season coming up. You got some salary cap constraints, but you're going to sign a guy here or there, a couple of guys here and there. Then you have your what we think is a franchise quarterback, injured, suspension, all that. You feel like you have to have something in place if that goes bad. Because the history has told you it's gone bad. It's gone bad at that position, right? The most important one is the most volatile one for the Cleveland Browns right now. So you feel like you have to have that security blanket in place. That's not a wrong thing to think. That's the right way to approach it. You need to make sure that you have a fallback. My comeback is you have to go to your fallback. It's over anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what your team is. We've seen this league. It's the Patrick Mahomes. It's the Josh Allens. If they go down, their team is tanking. Like, there's no way around it. They're not going to be good. And that's why.
Remember when the Jets were going to try to keep things afloat there for a while?
And am I crazy for saying, why don't we just take it back with DTR? At that point, your season's probably not going to go anywhere, and just see what you have in it.
And that, at least you might have a future with him.
I don't want to go.
At least you might
I'd rather
have something there.
Sure, it might be fun for a little bit to watch Joe Flacco if he could magically do it again, but at that point,
you're in the same spot, Nick. Well, I mean, we're in a different spot because at that point you're done with Watson and you got to go find somebody else.
And then you're obviously done with Flacco because he's going to be at that point. He's 40 years old. Like, it's just because it's a facade. It's a facade security blanket.
Here's the other thing.
It's not really a security blanket.
It's just a security blanket for the now. It's for this year. And I'm not saying that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski,
even the now we know isn't good enough.
Well, the thing is, once they get their extensions. Once Deshaun Watson, he got his extension. Once Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski get their extensions, I would like to believe that they have a confidence of surviving this year. And I think any NFL coach would probably tell you, have Greg Williams come in here and tell us, Blake Williams come in and tell us right to our face, you can't rely on that. This is a year-to-year league. And if it blows up, they don't care how much money they gave you, or they don't care what contract you have. They'll cut you, they'll fire you, and they'll pay you out, and you're on your way. So I understand that every year, any coach could be fired. On any given year, any coach could go, depending on what happens. So they need to have that security for the now. But imagine if they had a guarantee, which... You know how it goes with guarantees and the Browns and coaches. Go ask you. If you had a guarantee, if they went to Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and they sat them down in a room, much like our studio here, there's nobody in here, there's no cameras, it's a small room. We have video. Well, I said we have video cameras because we're on video right now. But if they sat them down and said, guys, no matter what, no matter how bad this year goes, you're safe and you'll be back in 2025. Joe Flacco wouldn't be here. He would not be here. Because the goal would be to figure out what you got with Deshaun Watson. Goes bad, you're going to flip it over to DTR. They're doing this because if it goes bad, they need to try to, I don't want to say save their jobs because that means that it's a selfish thing. We all want the Browns to win. We all want them to do it. I can't tell you how strongly I feel that what you got with Joe Flacco last year was a 1 in a million shot. Pull up Lloyd Christmas.
People just don't.
So you're telling me
people don't want to believe that.
But that's what I'm saying. And fans grab onto that to say, "Oh, we could just replicate that." I doubt very, very highly that you
because
can.
People don't want to accept the fact, and they don't want to believe it that their future is so highly correlated with how well Deshaun Watson plays.
I don't even want to say correlated.
And it's like some people don't even want to see him play well.
Well, that's a fact too. You're right on the Watson thing. What I was going to say is, Ryan, what people don't want to hear is that the Browns' future is literally teetering on success or failure again. There are teams that even had a bad year, they still feel extremely positive and feel good about the direction of their franchise. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be that way with the Cleveland Browns because of what they've built. The problem is what people don't understand. They are still this close to it going really bad. And that is all, again, back to Deshaun Watson. What you don't want to understand and what you don't want to think about is in a year's time, this could be completely different. This could be completely blown up. You're trading away guys. You're having to get rid of this guy. You're on the search for another quarterback. And that scares me. That scares you. That scares me. That scares them in that building. That's what you're trying to avoid. That's why they want to go back to Joe Flacco, because they think he can somehow avoid that. And I just don't know. I don't think that. I don't. What you caught last year was magical. I don't want to take it away. I don't want to take away what they were able to do last. You're probably not doing that again. So for Flacco, because I got a message. Listen, do you think I was being unfair when I said earlier that Flacco was playing the game? I got a message here. Somebody said I'm being a jerk because it's making it out to be that Joe Flacco is some manipulative son of a gun here.
No, that's not what
Okay,
you said.
I just wanted to bring it up. And I started by saying I think Joe Flacco, smartly, and I'm not ripping him for it, is playing the game. He's tugging at the heartstrings of the fan base. And of course he wants to come back. What did he say? If all things were equal, I'm back. Sure. What I believe is he's understanding there might not be other opportunities. And if it was, I don't even know, name a team. So Seattle calls, hey, you're going to be the backup to Geno Smith, and you're only going to play if he gets hurt. Well, of course you come back to Cleveland. He knows the offense. He feels good here. He's got the fan base support. That would be the same thing. And the issue is we might not get this answer through free agency because of how many quarterbacks are coming out in the draft. I think the message has been sent, or at least they're picking up the vibes. There is no bridge gap job for him. There is no bridge gap job out there for Joe Flacco. So that's when he's saying when all things are equal, right? Okay, I'm just going to play this out like we think it might go. Caleb Williams goes to Chicago. He's going to play. There's no question on that. Then Justin Fields goes to Atlanta. He's going to play. Kirk Cousins goes back to Minnesota. He's there. New England, they draft a guy, but they already re-signed Jacoby Brissett, or at least are close to doing that, right? So he's there. Washington, Tennessee, what jobs am I missing? The Raiders?
But Tennessee would never, because that wouldn't make sense. Because you started Will Levis last year. Why would you all of a sudden?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I think they're looking around, realizing there aren't going to be jobs out there. And it's also when you understand that 3/4 of the league has their starting quarterback in line for this season already. Whether it's a veteran or who they feel like they're going to start. The jobs are just not going to be out there for him. So what do you got to do? I'll go back to Cleveland. Going back to Cleveland. I'm not against it. I'm not against bringing Joe Flacco back. If that is truly what the best move is for the Browns, or they view it, that's fine. But don't come to me acting like I'm going to say that he's going to save this team again. Frankly, I don't want to have him save the team again. I'd like the Browns to be successful and Deshaun Watson play well. That's the ultimate goal here. But
that's my whole point.
I'm not going to get that excited.
Why?
I'm not going to get that excited about if Joe. Again, I will welcome him back. I will not do a show here saying this was a stupid idea or you could have spent that money elsewhere. I frankly don't care about that. I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson as much as the next guy. I'm not going to sit here and pound the table saying this was stupid. You should have played DTR. Why is Joe Flacco? They want to bring him back, fine. But I'm also not going to be one of these people waving flags and holding the parade that you brought Joe Flacco back, because I don't think it's going to happen again. I just really, if he had to go in there, if Watson got hurt again, I will eat the fattest crow that you can find. Go get me a seagull out there from the Port Authority over there. All right, bring it on in here, and I will eat it on this show live. Not really, but fine. I just don't think that's going to happen again.
No, it won't.
And people just.
That's why I'm saying. Then why? Like, that's why I would just personally, I would just not worry about it. I would have DTR, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to see what you have in him. What does it matter if you win 3 more games if you would have started Joe Flacco, if you're gonna
and you get your first round pick next year? So I'm not sprinkling that things into it as well.
I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make that much sense.
Our question this morning: do you think Deshaun Watson will be able to handle Joe Flacco returning? Because that's another part of it. Early results: 73-27 people say yes, and I voted yes on that too. Because he's got to be a realist and understand what's going on. The other take I had off of that, with this season being set up the way that it is, hopefully you get a receiver in here, but what has been the mark? What has been the goal for the Browns with Deshaun Watson here? Put as much around him as you can. Got him a new OC. They're flying out to LA to go hang out with him. Put these pieces in place here. Okay, fine. Maybe a little piece of that is somebody to push him. Is somebody to be a little bit of a threat there. And that could be Joe Flacco.
Well, okay, what happens when he throws a pick and fans start booing him?
He's going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, so the Browns should risk that, given that we managed to say, oh, it's not a rust thing. Now it's a confidence thing for Deshaun Watson.
Well, no,
but we're going to bring back a quarterback who the fans are instantly going to start booing as soon as he plays bad to put this guy in.
The thing that I would look at would be this. You have, again, scratched off the list of almost everything. But what you have done with Deshaun Watson in his time here, has been coddle him. He's your starter. He's your franchise guy. What do you mean? Of course that's what you do. Maybe you need to go to the opposite. Maybe it's time to bring in competition. They could never do this because of the contract and with what it is. What if they said, start a training camp, this is an open competition? This place would burn. This city would burn. And we love quarterback competitions as much as the next guy. You can't do that. They won't do that. But Joe Flacco would be the closest version of putting some pressure on Deshaun Watson. Now, people will instantly tell me, he's got enough pressure on him. He's $230 million. You think he wants to go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history? I'm sure not. But is that enough? Is that enough? It gets ramped up when every day you walk in and you see the guy that's ready to take your job. When you see that guy, Deshaun Watson was not threatened by Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was not threatened by Josh Dobbs. He was not threatened by Jacoby Brissett. Joe Flacco comes back. He is threatened by Joe Flacco to take his job. And especially, this is just me, if the Browns sat him down. Imagine this. This is, again, I'm just making this up, right? What if they sat down with Deshaun Watson and they told him, hey, man, we're all in on you. We want you to play well. We believe that you can play well. We're going to put you in the best spots that we can. But just so you know, we will pull that trigger and go to Flacco if we need to. That gets messy, ugly, and disgusting. Because then that's going to get leaked out and how people view that or not. And that's kind of an a-hole thing to say to somebody in a way. But also that's the real world. How many people out there with your jobs, sometimes they do, just so you know, this is where we're at. Some people are not afforded that in this world. But anyway, you get told, like, just so you know, man.
But the problem with that, man,
doesn't need to be said.
The problem with that, for me, I think, is that people would agree with you in saying that, yeah, let's do that to Deshaun Watson. But I bring it back to the point was, if you take Deshaun Watson's name out of it, let's go back to Baker, for instance. People would be like, no, that's the stupidest thing to do. Why would you put this unneeded pressure on him? Like, it's the fact that it's Deshaun Watson, and there's no way. It's the fact that it's his name and his history, and there's no way around that.
And I would look at it and say, the history is. I'm sorry. The pressure, the history of that's there. You got to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. That's where we're at. What about? Okay, here's another question. Do you think Flacco would be a legitimate threat to Deshaun Watson?
In terms of what?
Like, if they sat there and said that to Deshaun Watson in my fantasy world, if they sat down and they said, "Hey, man, we'll pull that trigger and we'll go to Deshaun Watson," or I'm sorry, to Joe Flacco if we need to. Do you think Watson would actually be like? Would he go? Oh, all right. I understand that. Or would he go, yeah, right, my ass?
Well, if the answer to that is yes, Joe Flacco is a legitimate threat, then just move the hell on. Because this contract's over. It's the worst in NFL history at that point. No way around it.
Right. And again, that's if you're talking about the pressure on Watson is to just avoid being the worst contract in NFL history, that's some damn good pressure. If he needs some more, you got to ramp it up with Joe Flacco, so be it. The other thing, the final thing we'll talk about Flacco, because we got stuff coming up with the Cavs. I cannot believe what I just saw on Twitter.
Yep, I was going to bring it up.
Did you see that?
Yep, I know.
Did you see that?
Yep.
What are we doing, man?
It's all for clout and money.
I don't even want to. Let's do it. Let me finish my Flacco take, and we'll get right to it, folks. I saw something on Twitter. I cannot believe what I'm saying here. And I don't want to bring it up because I hate that one dude. I hate him. He's such an a-hole.
Yeah, he is.
To wrap up the thing on Flacco, because now I completely forgot what I was going to say.
At the end of the day, it's either Deshaun Watson is going to be head and shoulders above Joe Flacco, what he ever was here in Cleveland, and then the contract works out, or it's the absolute failure, worst contract in NFL history. There's really no way around it.
No, and you're trying to avoid that. You hope that he plays it out.
Everybody's mincing words. It's the reality of it. It's Joe Flacco isn't good enough. He's not. And Deshaun Watson has to be head and shoulders above what Joe Flacco did if we want to go to the Super Bowl and live up to his contract. If he doesn't, then he doesn't, and it's a horrible deal, and the Browns look stupid, and that's going to be on Andrew Berry's record for the rest of his career.
It is what it is. All right, here it is. Mike Tyson's boxing Jake Paul. It's signed. Dude, this is the world that we live in, man. This is insane. And I think the Paul brothers stand for a lot of bad things. They made their name, and they've made millions of dollars off of being jerks. I don't like either one of them. And I know they're from Northeast Ohio, and I know we're just some little show here, and they don't have any time for us and whatever. That's fine. Boxing Mike Tyson, is that where we're at? This is the last one. This has got to be it. He paid a bunch of other guys to take a dive.
Yeah.
Tell me that he didn't.
No, 100%.
He's going to fight. How old is Mike Tyson? He's got to be 54.
They're 30 years different, I believe.
Mike Tyson is 57 years old. And you want to know what? He's going to lose. Like, that's... So why? So Jake Paul can say that he beat up Mike Tyson? I truly want to know the people that buy this. I want to know people that will pay money to watch this fight. And why you do it.
Oh, there'll be a lot of them.
What is wrong with you? That fight means nothing. They have made millions off of people just wanting to see Jake Paul get beat up, and he never does because the fights are rigged. They're rigged. They wouldn't be able to keep doing this if he lost. These are all rigged. And I didn't think Mike Tyson was that hard up for money. I didn't, but I guess maybe he is. And they'll tell you that this is a legitimate fight. This is going to end in the third round when Tyson's corner throws the towel in because he's tired. That's what's going to happen here. It's a sad, sad reflection of our society that this is the entertainment that we have, a rigged fight where you're just trying to hope to see some guy that you hate get beat up. There's no belt on the line. This is not, we were talking about boxing and MMA this week. Those fights have some meaning behind them. There is a belt. They are legitimate professional fighters. This is a sideshow circus clown act. And there are people out there that spend money on it. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves that you're giving money to that a-hole. Whatever, man. Not my... And we already gave him promo. How much should we just talk about? I didn't even know. That is insane. And it's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be live. Oh, so I guess it's not pay-per-view on this. You got to pay for... If you have Netflix, great. You're going to be in and be able to watch. It's not even pay-per-view. And it's at AT&T Stadium. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Jerry's World.
July. Dude, I really don't understand that. Oh my God.
Anyway, Karl Anthony Towns tore his meniscus.
I saw that, yeah.
So, Cavs play
Justin
tomorrow.
Simmons available. More guys getting released left and right. Dude, that's where we're at in this world. That we got to watch 57-year-old Mike Tyson box Jake Paul. Do people not understand how rigged that is, too? Like, they actually think that there's a chance that he could win that?
Oh, you're saying like Jake Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I guess probably win. I'm talking about Mike Tyson. Because why would you pay? Because you want to see Mike Tyson cold clock him and knock him out. It ain't going to happen.
I know.
They're going to dance just like McGregor and Mayweather.
Mike Tyson, if it was real, he would drop him in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. Like, there is no question. And again, I know he's 57 years old. He's one of the hardest hitting people that have ever walked this earth.
Maybe if we're lucky, he'll bite his ear off.
That'd be nice. That'd be fun. I hate it. I think that is a true sad state of our society. That those are what we look for. Celebrity boxing. Who's the undercard? Who's the undercard on that? Who's the chick that bashed Nancy Kerrigan's leg?
Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding. Get her back out there. That's fine. Who do you want her to fight? So find some elderly actress. That's fine. Get Tanya Harding in there. I don't know who you got.
Hillary Swank, $1 million baby.
Fine. There you go. There you go. She the one that was asking for money for her kid's thing?
No.
That was somebody else?
I'm just saying that because she was in $1 Million Baby.
Oh, okay.
She was the boxer.
All right. Do that. Bring him in. Do that. That'll be the undercard. That'll be the undercard. That'd be great. That is just, man, that's where we're at in this world. It's a sad state. All right. We got to talk Cavs. We'll do that when we return. Update on Evan Mobley. Good and bad, I guess. We'll keep an eye out with Mobley. We got more of that coming up. I do want to get back into this Flacco thing because I had a point, and I'm hoping that it circles back around in my brain. It's not that big in there, so hopefully it'll come back around here soon. So we get to that. Update our Twitter question as well. At Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. We're asking everybody, do you think Deshaun Watson would be able to handle Joe Flacco being here? Your thoughts on Flacco coming back, potentially the Browns? Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. I remember what I was going to say. Final thing, we'll wrap it up here. I'll tell you about Typico. when it's something like this, where it seems to be such a for sure. I've been a fan my whole life. I've been doing this job for a little bit. When I see something like that, where it seems to check every single box, I just have that feeling it's too good to be true. Maybe it's how I feel that I don't know if you can recreate what you did with Joe Flacco, his age, Watson, all that. But when it's something like this, where it's just so heavy from the reporting, from what Flacco has said, and how the fan base feel. Am I wrong, Ryan? Just take a step back and go, I don't like something about this. Or something about it. Because I've seen the for sure's. I've seen it with players and coaches, and this is it, man. This checks every damn box. This is exactly what we needed. This is what everybody wanted. And it almost never works out.
You know what conversation nobody ever has, and I don't think people want to have? Realistically, Joe Flacco in that 5 weeks, was he that good?
I mean, he set some records. He beat Peyton Manning on a couple records. I mean, yes.
I watched Sam Howell throw for 400 yards and 3 picks, too. I watched the same thing.
You could look at some of the opponents that they played.
I
get it. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I understand completely where you're coming from. I do. 100%.
Nobody wants to have that conversation.
Yes, you're right. That again, when it's something like this that seems to just be so damn apparent, it stinks to me. It stinks. And I get afraid and I don't like it. Just saying. I'm just saying. Something about it. It's not a reflection on Flacco. It's not a reflection on the Cleveland Browns. Just when I see something that I really feel like I'm one of the few, if maybe the only one, that is stepping back on this to say, wait a minute. When it's everybody that's on one, I don't like that. I don't. And maybe it's because I'm letting prior history of things that aren't even connected cloud my judgment. Maybe. I hear no opposition to this. None. I'll be the one. That's fine. But I'm just saying, I don't know if when it's just everybody's on board with this. Everybody seems to be like it's it. And at the end of the day, Ryan, too, I'm not making it out to be like...
It's because people hate Deshaun Watson.
No, it's not
yes,
that.
It is.
No,
yes,
there are some that do. I'm not saying that there are.
I'm telling you it is.
But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, this is also not even for like the starting... Like, this isn't ownership. This isn't the head coach, right? This role is actually a semi-minor role. It gets built up because it is the only thing. It's built up and in the news cycles, A, because it's the Browns, and B, because it's a quarterback. That's what we do. The backup quarterback's usually one of the most popular guys in this town. A mountain is getting made out of this molehill because we don't have anything else to do, anything else to talk about. And then you factor in what Flacco means, what he's saying, all this other stuff. It's getting blown up bigger than it is.
Well, what does he mean to us? That's the problem. People act like because he came here.
He took you on a run.
Yeah, it was great. It was
right.
magical.
In relative, he didn't win you a Super Bowl. He didn't go Nick Foles.
He didn't win us the playoff game. People are freaking out. And Joe Flacco obviously seems like the really good guy.
Well, I mean, dude, can I get you that direct comparison for a second?
But I don't care if he's a good guy, Matt. I don't care.
Nick Foles won them a Super Bowl, and within a couple of years, neither one of those guys was there. Right? Tell me that that's not a similar situation. Watson to Wentz is Foles to Flacco. And maybe, again, different players, different organizations, sure. But it's the same thing. What happened there? They still had to blow it up. Neither one of those guys were there. You don't have one. If you have two, you don't have one. Remember that saying? That's always saying with a quarterback, right? This year is all set up to figure that out. Oh man, it's not even a Flacco thing. It's like a Watson thing more than anything. In 3 years, are we going to be drafting a quarterback and starting this all over again?
Probably, but nobody wants to accept that.
We're going to be starting over again. We drafting some guy that's a sophomore. What's Arch Manning up to? He's not in the game, by the way. He said he didn't want to do EA Sports.
I saw that.
He's out. Drafting Arch Manning. Denzel Ward will be gone. Myles Garrett will be gone. Tony will be gone. Njoku will probably be gone. Teller will be gone. Mari Cooper will be long gone.
Just be setting up and doing it all over again.
Oh, well, whatever. That's fine.
Hopefully MJ is still here. I like MJ Emerson. Grant Delpit, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to see. All right, let's flip right over to the Cavs here. A little late for the break, so it's all right. We'll tell you about Tipico coming up, folks. We got our boost tonight. We're going to do a Cavs helping boost. I don't know if that's what they labeled it on Tipico. We're going to pick 3 NBA games tonight. They're going to boost it up for us because we're going to do games that all help the Cavs. Last night, all right, I think the schedule, the injuries, sure. I was happy that they got back into the game the way that they did. On the surface, if I wanted to sit there and tell you, you don't want to lose to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are not a good basketball team, especially without Trae Young. And DeJounte Murray's fine. Why is or which one is that? Bogdanovich. That's not the other one. That's that one, right? Whichever. There's 2 of them. I was happy the Cavs got back into it. Short man, Sam Merrill. What are you going to do? I don't want to read too much into that game. I got nothing for it. The schedule kind of beat them down. They're out of gas. I don't really have a lot of hope for the Timberwolves game. What is that, tomorrow night, right?
Well, Cat's out, so.
Huh?
Cat's out.
He is out. He is out. I mean, there's something to be said about that. We'll see. And they have a tough stretch coming up of basketball. The update on Evan Mobley, I think, is a positive one that they're just going to reevaluate him in a week. The swelling, MRI confirmed a sprain. I'd sit the same thing with Donovan Mitchell. You sit him out until you get him healthy, and you sit him out until you're good to go. I don't want to dive into he's now injury prone because think about it. Evan Mobley is going to be staring down the barrel, Ryan, that he probably won't play in half of the games this season. Think about that. And basketball can be fluke injuries like that. He twisted his ankle after a dunk. Okay, fine. But you want to avoid those ankle and knee injuries. When you're a basketball player, what ends careers faster than anything? Knee injuries. Knee injuries. And I know the one was the knee. Now this is an ankle. I think they're on opposite legs, too, if I'm not mistaken. I think it wasn't in his right knee and now his left ankle. I don't know. We'll figure that out. The thing that's getting a lot of traction with the Cavs, and I've seen it, shout out to Danny Cunningham. I've seen it from Justin Rowan, are all these splits on the best lineup for the Cavs. And you can do that on some websites where what does it look like when it's Mitchell and Garland and Strus and Mobley and this and all these different lineups. And it has become shockingly clear that you cannot play Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley anymore together. That game last night, I sent the tweet. Dude, Jarrett Allen is so good. He is so good at what he does. Rebounding and the points. Was 18 and 18 for him last night again? He was the Kevin Love. He was the first guy that we expected to be out the door when you needed to make a trade or cut salary. He was it. Now, Jarrett Allen might be the only guy, the second guy behind Donovan Mitchell on the list of I can't let leave. I never thought I'd live in that world. Maybe even more than Darius Garland, who I know's got a contract. And I don't want to say that about Evan Mobley, but that's how I feel this morning. That Donovan Mitchell is number 1 on the list of guys you cannot let leave. Jarrett Allen is now second on my list for that. And I didn't think I'd ever be there, man. Doesn't mean I'm really ready to give up on Evan Mobley. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to move on from him. But it has become apparent that you can't play those guys together. And again, I don't want to go into one game from the Hawks last night, but the stats and some of the lineups that are qualified, I think Danny had this too. They had to have a certain amount of minutes played together. You can't have 2 minutes on the floor and say, wow, they put up a bunch of points. They're really good. There was a minute minimum that he put into that, and it's clear the Cavs are at their best when they have one big on the floor, and that one big is Jarrett Allen. That's it. That is, if you want to look at it from that standpoint, that is the best version of this Cavs team moving forward. Good news, bad news. That's what you're going to get moving forward. No offense to Damian Jones, but he ain't going to play very much other than spot duty to give Jarrett Allen a break. Hopefully Allen's conditioning's up because he's going to have to play a lot of minutes moving forward. But that is the underlying battle with this Cavs team right now, where we're on this emotional high after the Boston game. I don't feel like people are down in the dumps today after the Atlanta game. You tried to come back. You couldn't. You ran out of gas. That's fine. Got some big matchups, Timberwolves and Suns. Okay, we'll see how you play out with that. But this is the underlying thing with the Cavs, the lineups. And if you want to yell at JB Bickerstaff to figure it out, well, you got to play them to figure it out. You can't just sit there and make it up on a sheet of paper. You got to play it to get your information. You have to play it to get your stats. And eventually there's a decision that he has to make. And another underlying thing with the Cavs is JB's future. Is he going to be the guy that, if they have that first-round exit again, is he going to continue to have a job? Is he going to be the one thrown in the bus? I don't know. I hope not. I like JB Bickerstaff. I think he's doing a great job with this team. The construction of the team, it's very apparent. The construction of the team is not meeting how they should be playing or the system that they want to run. So one of those things are going to have to change. And I think what now is apparent, it's going to have to be the roster that changes. You don't think JB's tried different systems? You don't think they've tried to make it work with all these pieces? You've been gifted this extremely talented lineup, and it doesn't work. You've been gifted guys that have all NBA, all-star potential, make a lot of money, salary cap, certainly a big part of it, all of it. You've been gifted this, and it doesn't work. Square peg in a round hole. Gonna have to change the peg. Gonna have to change the team. And that's a job for Kobe Allman. I don't want to have that discussion today. And now, unfortunately, again, you have had a lot of data to be compiled of what it looks like with different guys missing the lineup. The only guy's been Jared Allen. God, please keep him healthy. He's the only one. Last one standing. Everybody else. Our guy, George Niang. Everybody else. Has Okoro been hurt this year? I don't think so.
No, I mean, he's missed
Think about
games,
it.
but
LeVert, been injured. Mitchell injured. Garland injured. Mitchell injured. Strus injured. Everybody. I know around the league, everybody points, meniscus now for Karl Anthony Towns, Achilles here for Giannis and all that other stuff that's happening. But I'm just saying, you've had enough data to figure this out. And it's not for now. You have the team that you have. I still feel confident they're going to win a first-round matchup and go from there. But it's every game. Every game, you understand, man, this ain't going to be the lineup that it's got to be.
I have nothing more for this Cavs team until the playoffs. There's nothing you could read into.
That's fine. That's fine. If that's how you, hey, if you want to, we'll call that the LeBron. If you want to adopt the LeBron, that nothing is going to matter until we get to the playoffs, that's fine. Sure. But you still got to keep in, man. You got to keep there. You got to try to stay in that 2 seed. And obviously they're not there right now. And unfortunately, it seems like the Bucks have turned things around there with Doc a little bit. But they're battling injuries too. Half game back. We don't have a Cavs game tonight, but we have an NBA boost because we're going to do games that will help the Cavs. So we'll get to that coming up with our friends at Tipico. Folks, sign up with that code Fontana100. When you deposit and bet $25 on whatever you want, you get $100 in bonus bets. You're looking at me like we already have the boost. Ryan, we got the boost. Let's go. Yeah! We're calling this the Cavs Helper Boost. What's your favorite? Hamburger helper? Tuna helper? You ever had any of those? What?
Stuff.
Oh, get out
all
of
that
here.
processed garbage.
What do you mean?
No thanks.
Tuna helper?
Anything with helper, just go find something else.
No, hamburger. Dude, tuna helper. Do you ever mix tuna with macaroni and cheese?
What does the helper do? What does it help?
It turns it into a casserole. Tuna casserole. My mouth's watering. I love a tuna casserole right now.
All right.
When I was in college, no joke, I just make a bowl of macaroni and cheese and I just dump a can of tuna in there.
Ugh.
What do you mean?
I like tuna, but not like that.
What? Come on. You never try that? So you like tuna. On the base level of you like
I just
tuna?
eat it out of the packet.
Dude, put it in a thing of macaroni and cheese. Thank me. I'm telling you, do not knock it till you try it. Don't knock it till you try it. It's delicious.
How about the boost? I'm not here
The
for
Cavs
this.
Tuna Helper Boost tonight is where we're at. Now, these are 3 games that'll help out the Cavs tonight. Ryan, please run through the games and where our boost is at.
Alrighty, well, it's 3 favorites, but we know how parlays work, Matt. We boost those odds up here. Mavericks going to beat the Heat tonight. Nuggets going to beat the Celtics, hopefully. That's going to be the tougher one. And then Warriors beat the Bulls, Matt. All 3 of those, Tipico boosted up to a healthy plus 305.
All right, I like it. Get on Tipico. Use that code Fontana100. Deposit and bet $25. You get $100 in bonus bets that you can use on whatever you want. You can bet that with our boost. You can bet the biggest favorite that you got. Tennis action. We got the tournament around the corner.
Masters.
NASCAR. The Masters, which is so beautiful and great. We'll get into the golf coming up as well. Dude, Oh my God! You know what I thought of, and I don't mean I'm just talking here. I don't know if we can actually do this on Tipico. Could you imagine a little imperfect parlay on some golf bets,
Like to make the cuts?
something?
Yeah.
And so we talk about the imperfect parlay. If I did a 6-leg parlay on Tipico, I want just 4 of those to hit. They call that the imperfect parlay. I could still cash that. All right, I'm jumping on our boost right now. $10 wins me 40. All right, I'm in. Placing my bet right there. Boom, done. We're in. Tipico, use that code Fontana100. Let's get to the morning update when we return. Lot coming up in hour 2. I'm sure we're going to cycle back to this Flacco stuff. I'm getting a little hate. I'm getting a little pushback that I'm being anti.
For what?
That I'm making Joe Flacco out to be some enemy by saying that I think he's playing the game here.
He's not an enemy. He's just not good enough. I'm
So
sorry.
I don't know if that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's good enough or not. People are taking me to task here a little bit in the Twitter inbox by saying I'm being unfair to Joe Flacco because it makes it sound like he's doing something slimy. It makes it sound like that Joe Flacco's tugging at the heartstrings of Browns fans, that is unsavory, slimy, that I'm making him out to be a bad person for doing. I'm not. I really don't mean that. You just got to see it. Sometimes you need to see the forest through the trees here. And when I just see everybody just jumping on this bandwagon, man, again, I'm not against him coming back. That's fine if he wants to come back. If it works for the Cleveland Browns too, I'm not jumping through the roof saying, man, he's going to fix all of our problems here. And if anything, what does that sign us up for, Ryan? A whole offseason and a whole season of just debating Watson versus Flacco.
Which is the dumbest thing in the world.
Do that. I don't want to
Dumbest
do
thing
that.
in the world.
I don't. I'm surprised the Browns are even open to that drama. Goes back to our question this morning. Do you feel like Watson can handle it? They can't. Oh man, they can't talk football. Because again, Stefanski and Dorsey went out to go see Watson. Do you think they brought that up? They can't talk football, which is insane. What are they going to do while they're out there? How's your shoulder? Good, great. Want to play some video games? Want to go to dinner? Like, do you think? Let me ask you this: do you believe the Browns should ask Deshaun Watson how he feels about that? Is he afforded that? When they're allowed.
No.
But the thing is, you got to go now. The legal tampering period opens when? Tomorrow? Or Monday, because free agency starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
So the legal tampering period starts on Monday.
No, he doesn't deserve that.
Okay. All right. And then, again, that comes back to you're putting a little pressure. You're tightening the screws there a little bit on Deshaun Watson. I'm all for that. Whatever gets him to play well. I'll put it this way. I don't really have a horse in this race. I just want the Browns to win. And for them to win, I need a quarterback that's going to play well. I don't care who it is. And I don't care even if it's not Deshaun Watson. If there's a day that we open this show with the breaking news that the Browns are getting rid of Deshaun Watson, you will not hear me sitting here ripping the franchise and holding them up saying these idiots, these morons. You're not going to get that from me. You tried it. It didn't work. It set you back. Time to restart and move on forward. That's what you're going to hear from me that day. I don't care who it is. I just want to win. And if Joe Flacco's a security blanket, for my son, we call it a lovey. He's got a little lovey. It's a little bear.
What do you need a security blanket for, though?
If that's Joe, maybe I should get him a Joe Flacco doll. Maybe that's his little lovey.
But what do the Browns need a security blanket for? If you know you're not going to, like, what's the point?
Because if it goes bad, they need to try to save their job, save the season. And feel like Flacco can do that. At our point, Ryan, season's done. We'll see. All right, morning update. We got a lot to get to in that. We'll give another crack at the Immaculate Grid. It was an emotional last-minute Hail Mary yesterday to get it done. We'll get to the Immaculate Grid coming up. We got time up. We got our boost. We got our bracket. We got it all right here on Big Play. right, a lot of morning update to go. We got a lot of stories. We'll get to the grid coming up. More Flacco. I guess I'm the Flacco hater. Here. Is there some F word that I can put it? No, not that F word, the other one.
And I'm right there with you, man.
All right, here we are. Let's go. Get some morning update. Ron's got the stories. Let's get to them.
Alrighty, well, the Cavs were without, obviously, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley for this game, and Max Strus as well, so no real surprise there. They almost came back against the Hawks there late, but the effort falls short, and they fall in Atlanta.
Yeah, I give them credit for trying to get back into that game. At a point, they were 3-point wizards again. Then they go cold. They're streaky from that standpoint. What was your bust last night? Dean Wade and Sam Merrill combined to go 1 of 15 from behind the arc. Sam Merrill couldn't buy a bucket last night. Think about how that game could have shifted. Allen 18, I again get critical about Darius Garland because, bro, I need him scoring 25. Like, if Donovan Mitchell is out,
Yeah, that's the thing.
like, you have to take that up. And I'm not trying to already make roster declarations and stuff, but I'm looking really critical at that. I'm looking extremely critical at Darius Garland to say games like this, even if you lose, I need you to be the best player on the court for the Cavs, and he's not. It's Jared Allen. I need you putting up 25 in this game. He shot 14 times last night. Great. He was 5 of 14 from the floor. That is not great. 3 out of 11 from behind the arc, not great either. I need him going off for 25. That's what I need. Not getting him. So you lost that game. Again, gives the Cavs, what, they put 40 up in the third quarter?
And then
stinker in the fourth. I think they just ran out of gas, man. I don't know what they need. You know, they were talking about the broadcast with Brad Doherty. They're like, dude, imagine again, you had an emotional win. You get on a plane. You land in Atlanta 1, 2 in the morning. You're not going right to sleep until 3 or 4. Even if you sleep from 4 to 10, try to get your 6 hours. You're in a different bed. That's the life of an NBA player. This stretch of basketball has been an ass kicker. I don't know who set this up. I don't know who gave us this stretch. It's bad. So we just need to get through it and try to continue to get some rest. But I need more out of Darius Garland. I just need more out of it. It's just gonna happen. That's the big key right now.
All right, well, Joe Flacco goes on record saying all things equal, he would like to return to the Browns to play football. We know reports earlier that, of course, the Browns do have some interest in bringing him back, but we know that brings upon a litany of other, I don't want to say issues, but maybe concerns is a better word.
I look at it when it's just everybody just seems to be yes. So then I'm just questioning it. I just try to see the other side of it. Here's the question. If it wasn't Flacco, who else would you go get? Because I get the sense the Browns will still bring a veteran guy in here. They don't want to just run it with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So let me look at this. Free agent quarterbacks. Completely free agent. From PFF, right? Okay, here we go. Again, you're not getting Kirk Cousins. We know Jacoby Brissett. Would you bring Ryan Tannehill in here as your backup? Gardner Minshew. Jameis. Those are all the guys right there. Wait.
I would bring in Jameis.
I'd love Jameis Winston to come here. I'd be all for that. Here's Spotrac. Trubisky signed, okay? Sam Darnold, Ted Bridgewater. Didn't Teddy Bridgewater retire?
I think
he's retired. Yeah, he's done. You could bring Josh Dobbs back. Easton Stick, Josh Johnson, Carson Wentz, Trevor Siemian, Matt Barkley, Mason Rudolph. I don't know. It's slim pickings. I understand that. It is slim pickings out there. It's weird that they don't have... Oh, no, they do have Flacco on this list right here. They do. How about Marcus Mariota? What about Marcus Mariota? He's sturdy. Career backup. And again, would you not feel like... I guess you're right. I'd rather have... Would you have Flacco or Marcus Mariota?
Probably Flacco. To me, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
You hope he doesn't play. You hope he doesn't have to play.
Exactly. If either one of them play, we're cooked.
There's other options out there. We'll see. I think he's greasing the wheels. I just think can I say one more thing on this? Flacco is making it extremely well known that he wants to come back. That's all I'm going to say. He's making it extremely well known that he wants to come back. That's fine. Sure. Browns need to make that decision, but that's all I'm going to say.
Alrighty, well, the Bills might be in a little mini pseudo rebuild mode. I don't know if I'd call it that, but they are releasing cornerback Tre'Davious White, our old friend, safety Jordan Poyer, center Mitch Morse, among many others.
Can I tell you, I'm glad you said old friend. Think about that career for Jordan Poyer. And I'm pulling up because I want to see when, I think he was drafted 7th round with the Eagles, and then we picked him up on waivers, I think. And look at the career that he has turned in, man. Good for him. And think about this. He was a first-team All-Pro just 2 years ago, made the Pro Bowl last year, and now he's out, because of the money. And I do know that there's the other side of his life where he talked about battling alcoholism, where he was saying every night I was drinking. So I give him a lot of credit for sharing his story, hopefully to help others, and turning in one hell of a career. Dude, he went from a 7th-round draft pick to signing a $7 million or $13 million deal. What was the deal that he just got? Like, I'm just saying, dude, that's a hell of a career for him. That's a hell of a job there for him. Again, you look at the debate about the salary cap being real or not, where you can move money and you can flub it a little bit and roll over cap and that, but there are still teams that you got to get squeezed, and there are players that have to get released. And with Buffalo, they got a quarterback on a big level deal. I don't know how Stephon Diggs is still there. Like, I'm sure that money, they can't get rid of it. They're going to have to let Gabe Davis go. I always say this. Be thankful that you have Andrew Berry. You got a loaded team with almost everybody that you would want under contract, and you are still under the salary cap with the Deshaun Watson deal still looming over. That's not easy to do. You want to have a question about a talent evaluation or his wide receiver, how he views wide receivers? Sure. You should, and I'm this way, be forever thankful that Andrew Berry is a wizard when it comes to numbers, and he knows how to work the numbers and work the cap. He might do it as good as anybody in the league, so be thankful for that. Yeah, I'm fine with the Bills sucking. One more team out of the playoff race. It's not how it's going to be, but you got to work this game, man. Work the game, and I think Andrew Berry does as well as anybody.
All right, well, lastly here for the morning update, Matt, and this is a really recent update. It's just this morning. We got the news. I know you're excited. Jake Paul, yes, his next opponent will be the
57-year-old
Mike Tyson.
I think it is a sad state of our society that's what people want to watch. They don't have to pay for it, I guess, because you have Netflix. You get to watch it. I really do not understand the draw, because I'm sure there are people out there that are Jake Paul fans, right? So you want to see him win a fake fight?
Yes.
And then there are people that want to watch him get beat up. I get that. I will not watch, I guess I was harsh earlier to people that I said you ought to be ashamed of yourself if you watch that. And also, does it not feel like that this is damn near the end of all of it? How many more of these can he do? How many more washed up fighters can he find?
Just go box a real dude.
Oh, he won't do that because then he'll get exposed. And they try to tell you that he did that when he boxed Tommy Fury or whatever. Yeah. Like, that was a load. Did he actually fight him, or did they pull out of that? Did he actually fight him?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Because they were supposed to.
People were making a big deal he beat up a washed Ben Askren, who's not even a boxer.
I will tell you from every fiber of my being that he and Tyron Woodley threw that fight.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, no, it was. He fought Tommy Fury, and Fury won by split decision. At 800,000 pay-per-view buys.
You're telling me he actually fought a boxer and lost?
Yeah, but Tommy Fury, what
a shocker.
His next fight, he fought that YouTube guy, KSI.
Dude, it's getting a joke.
I'll tell you this about Tommy Fury. Outside of KSI and Jake Paul, the other 8 guys that he has fought, not a single one of them even have a Wikipedia. I can't even click. Apparently, he fought here in Cleveland. He beat Anthony Taylor. He beat another guy on points. He's beating guys on points. Aren't those amateur fights? This is a joke. His KSI fight did 1.3 million buys. Paul versus Fury did about 800,000. Revenue of $38 million for his fight with Jake Paul. All right, man. To each their own. All right, teach their own. We hit it yesterday. We got to get this immaculate grid today. You got to go across. You got to go across. You got to go up and down. Let's get it done, Ryan. Our only one team on the right.
Yep, but that's easy because we can just do recent players.
I guess you're right. All right, should I start the timer?
Yep.
Timer started now. We have 9 minutes to finish that. Bears, Patriots, Jags.
Let's just rip the only one teams. I mean,
Justin Fields. For now. Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones. That's fine. All right, now we get into the nitty-gritty of it here. All right, here we go. Which team would you like to start with and focusing on? I kind of want to knock the Buccaneers going down a little bit.
Okay, well, we can do Brady or Gronk.
Yeah, Brady or Gronk. There. Easy. Okay. Bears, Bucks. Bucks. Jags. All right. Don't overthink this. Don't overthink it. We're overthinking it. Leonard Fournette. Oh, Leonard Fournette. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's how it happens when we don't overthink. Leonard Fournette. There we go. All right, Bears, Bucks. I don't know why. No. No, he didn't play for Tampa. Mike Glennon. I feel pretty confident Mike Glennon played for the Bears. Did he? Did he not?
I feel like that might be right.
Okay, go for it. Let it rip. We need to start just letting these rip. Like Mike Glennon. Did he? Crap.
Dude, I don't know, man.
Crap.
Dude, should we pull it?
Can I look it up first?
No.
No. All right, let it rip then. Mike Glennon. Nice. Why do we doubt ourselves? Why do we doubt ourselves here in the game? All right, here we go. Kansas City.
I got one. Chiefs, Patriots.
Okay, go ahead.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
That's a good one. Very good one. Very nice. 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 Chiefs, Jags. Chiefs, Jags. Chiefs, Jags.
Bortles.
Did he play for the Chiefs?
Didn't he? I'm thinking Gabbert.
You're thinking of Blaine Gabbert, but he also...
Didn't he play for both?
Yeah, he played for both. Yeah, good call. Blaine Gabbert. Absolutely.
I always
Blaine
mix
Gabbert.
them up for some reason.
I know. They're tall and they suck. I get it. Yes, well done.
All right.
All right. We're at 2.5 minutes here. Look at us go. Come on now. Now, this caught us yesterday, and we needed to walk
same
off
square,
Hail
too. Same square as last.
Same square as last time. You're damn right. It is. All right. Bears, Chiefs. Bears, Chiefs. Okay, Devin Hester didn't go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Dante Hall would... Or wait, did Devin Hester? No. Right? No, there's no way. So I'm trying to think of like that era of like the 2010s, that kind of stuff. Chase Daniel? Did Chase Daniel play for the Bears? I think he might have.
It
sounds good to me. All right, let's hold off. Let's see if we can run through anybody else here. Kickers.
That's what I was thinking.
Who's the Bears kicker for a long time? I feel like I know it's Eddie Pinheiro now, but before, even who the hell were the Kansas City Chiefs kickers for a long time?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't think about it. Yeah. Recency bias abound with us here. Yeah, backup. I keep going to Chase Daniel. I think I got one too. Kyle Orton. I'm almost positive Kyle Orton played for the Chiefs. Like, I feel pretty uber confident on that.
So we can pull it.
I'll leave it up to you. I feel like Kyle Orton played for the Chiefs. I think he did. Yes! Let's go. 2 for 2.
That was quick.
Nice.
Is there anything you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, just click on a couple just to help us getting ready to go for the year. Go Bears Chiefs, because I want to see if there was anybody else. Who are we debating on that? Chase Daniel?
Yeah. Jared Allen.
Oh, that's a good one.
Nick Foles, I guess.
Really?
Chase Daniel's on here.
Okay, good. All right, so that would have counted too. All right.
Damian Williams. Oh, that would have been a good
Oh, that would
pull.
have been a good one,
Byron
yeah.
Pringle.
Okay. All right. Yeah, click another. Just click another one. I just want to see. Bucks, Bears, fine.
Akeem Hicks.
Okay. That's a good one.
Josh McCown.
Oh, yeah. We got to start remembering Josh McCown for this thing, man.
Jaquiz Rogers.
That's a name from the past, man. Is that Missouri when he came out? Yeah, there's a name from the past.
About it.
All right, fair enough. Good job. 2 for 2 this week. See what happens when we just get the flow going a little bit? We knock out the Immaculate Grip. I head over to NFL.com this morning, and they ran through the top players at each free agent position. And I wanted to run through receiver because as we sit here, they did their top 10. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say there was a name on this list that I'm biased towards, but I would think about it. Let's run through the receivers. So, Ryan, this is again from NFL.com. Greg Rosenthal sent this out. So his number one quarter, you want to run through the quarterbacks real quick? You want to hear something crazy for Greg Rosenthal? Rank the quarterbacks. Number 1, Kirk Cousins. Number 2, Jacoby Brissett. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. Number 4, Ryan Tannehill. Number 5, Russell Wilson. Jameis Minshew, Tyrod Taylor is top 8.
Brissett over Baker's a little bold.
That's a little bit of a bold take there. Because now it came out this morning that Baker and the Bucs are working towards a long-term deal, and the tampering period opens up. Maybe he wants to see what his value is, all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, the other thing, to tie this kind of back to Flacco for a second, would you not rather have a flyer on Russell Wilson over, and I'm not saying for Cleveland, stop it. Brad Doherty brought that up on the broadcast last night. He's like, why don't you just bring Russell Wilson to Cleveland?
Over who?
Just to bring him here as a backup.
No, I'm saying your question was what? To me? You said, would you rather have Russell?
Oh, would you rather have Russell Wilson or Joe Flacco? You're talking about like a backup type role. Would you probably not lean towards?
For same money?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
That's what I'm saying. Again, I'm not saying Cleveland. But I'm just in that got me thinking about like maybe Flacco's getting this sense of like, hey man, there are not a lot of jobs, and now we all knew Russell Wilson would be available. Maybe Denver now is an option. I don't know. They got to draft one. Sean Payton needs somebody to work on there a little bit. Maybe he's the bridge guy to Denver. Who knows? Running back, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Eckler, Dobbins, Singletary. It is quite the list there.
Derrick Henry over Josh Jacobs is interesting. I would not.
I am a big Josh Jacobs fan myself. And Derrick Henry's 30. Josh Jacobs is 26.
Yeah. They both led the league in rushing in the last 3 years, and Josh Jacobs is way younger.
Yeah, I agree with you. And now we get down to receiver. Number 1 receiver available, according to NFL.com, Greg Rosenthal, Calvin Ridley. And overextended the Jags, tried to feature him as the number receiver. Ridley still showed a perchance of getting open and making big plays. He's just a little older and less consistent than you'd ideally like.
He's not that old.
He's 29. Which is really creepy and ironic, Ryan, that I bring up 2 years ago today, he got suspended for a year. So he is 29. Take that for what it is. Number 2 on the list, Marquise Hollywood Brown. Number 3, Gabe Davis. Number 4, Curtis Samuel, and he's not the guy. I'd love Curtis Samuel here, but he's not even the guy I'm going to bring up in a second. Darnell Mooney is 5. KJ Osborne 6, with Greg writing the number 3 option with room to grow. Odell is 7. Tyler Boyd 8, and at number 9, Michael Thomas. He's 31, and he gets hurt left and right. He's not played. Dude, can you believe he's not played a full season since 2019?
Yeah. So he broke all the records.
But he showed some flashes in 10 games last year of his old self. I'd think about it. I'd think really hard about it. I would.
I'm assuming Mike Williams isn't on that list because he's technically not.
He got to trade for him. I know Mary Kay brought that up, and I'd take Mike Williams.
Oh, I would do many things for Mike Williams.
Yeah. Yeah. What's his contract? Mike Williams contract. Oh, okay. 4-year, $19 million. Next year, a cap. Oh, no. I'm sorry. There's a potential out after this last seat. Oh, no. You can't trade for Mike Williams. No. He's got a cap hit of $32 million next year. Unless
they cut him.
They might have to cut him.
Which I think they're going to. Because like you said, I don't think nobody's picking up that contract.
No, and I don't think they're going to pay him that either. All right, so then if he's cut and he's an unrestricted free agent, I'm all for Mike Williams. on the bottom barrel side of it, because everybody's all in on Gabe Davis. That's fine, dude. I a little farther on Michael Williams if he's available. Michael Williams. What am I saying? Mike Thomas. Either one of the Mikes. Bring them on in. You want to look at edge rushers real quick just to see?
Sure.
Because defensive tackle Christian Wilkins number one. Edge rushers Danielle Hunter. Jonathan Grenard is second, which he's also a name that people have brought up. Bryce Huff, Chase Young, Zadarius Smith is fifth on this list. Andrew Van Ginkel, Jadeveon Clowney, Josh Uche, a couple other guys. Marcus Davenport is 10. Shaq Barrett, Brandon Graham, but he's going back to the Eagles. And Emmanuel Ogbah is 14th. D-line, Chris Jones 1, Christian Wilkins 2, Leonard Williams available after his run there with Seattle. He's 30. I think DJ Reader's going back to the Bengals. Now we'll have to get our Bengals show up on that. Torres quad last year, we'll see. Calais Campbell's still out there. The D-line, there's nobody on the D-line at the D-tackle position under the age of 30. That's kind of against what the Browns have done in the past. But there's going to be a one-year deal. That's the Andrew Berry guarantee that you will have a one-year type of deal for a veteran guy. Why not make it Michael Thomas? And we're going to talk to Jake Burns. I reached out to Jake. Unfortunately, he's a little under the weather, so we'll talk to him next week. But how often or how much do you think the Browns are going to be involved starting next week? I know the cap space they can create. I'm just conditioned. I don't see a lot of big moves. Maybe one big move, but I think this is going to be more of some smaller one-year deals type of things. I don't know. The team is pretty built. You only need a couple of pieces. And I don't know what else. I don't see a lot of options out there. Because the other thing, I read through this on Jeremy Fowler this morning. I'll bring this up real quick. Jeremy went through all the reasons about the salary cap. And this is also Dan, I think it might have been Dan Graziano as well. And they ran through all the impact of the salary cap jumping. Why the cap went up so much. Is this a one-year thing, or is it going to be going up every year? So here's an interesting one from Graziano. Sources who I've discussed don't expect a similar increase next year. And in fact, negotiations between the league and the NFLPA to finalize next year's cap was to float around just an increase of 8 to 10 million. So you had a jump of 30. You're only expecting an increase of 8 to 10. That means the cap could go up, to about $265 million. The other thing that we need to keep an eye on, talking about big level negotiations going on, they're making the push to go to the 18-2. They want 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games. That push is happening. So make no mistake, the salary cap jumping as much as it did, that is a negotiation ploy for the NFL to go to the PA and finally get this 18-2 schedule going, which they need. Let's be honest here. We don't need that extra. I think I didn't dislike the 16-game schedule. I thought that was fine. But they're going to want to get to 18 and we're there. The one thing that Graziano wrote here had to do with Nick Chubb. Does this help teams dealing with massive cap charges for their stars? And he brought up the Chargers for Keenan Allen, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack. The 49ers, Trent Williams, Eric Armstead. Bengals when it comes to Joe Mixon. Obviously, they're going to have to pay Jamar Chase. And then he writes the Cleveland Browns. The Browns don't want to cut Nick Chubb, who's coming off a knee injury. They love the guy, but they also can't carry him on his $15.8 million cap hit next year. They'll either have to extend him, which is what I hope happens, or negotiate some sort of pay cut if he's going to be on the team in 2024. If it's the latter, the expanded cap means the Browns might not have to offer a deep cut to a valued player as they might have otherwise. So again, what he's saying is the salary cap jumped. If it was a normal year, you got to go to Nick Chubb and say, you might have to cut your salary by half. And that's a tough conversation to have with somebody. Maybe it's more of like, we need to take a cut here of a quarter or something with incentives to kind of get it up there as well. They said the biggest impact, as rightly so, of who's going to help the higher cap, big name free agents and the wide receivers. These wide receivers are about to get paid. CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Well, this year, yeah, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, they all join them as extension eligible. The top market at the position is expected over $30 million a year.
Yep. Which is just mind-boggling.
Which, again, I get the importance, but you better have a quarterback to throw to him.
Yeah.
You better have a chicken or the egg here, trying to get it figured out. I saw them post this on the our new Cincinnati show here on Big Play. And they asked, would you rather bring T. Higgins back or guarantee that Brock Bowers played his whole career with the Bengals? Which one would you rather have? Easy
Bowers.
answer. Bowers.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course. You already have Jamar Chase. And the money that's going to start getting thrown around here starting Monday with that legal tampering period is going to be pretty important. All right, let's catch a break. When we come back, we're going to jump into time up. I already spoiled one, telling you about the Calvin Ridley suspension. I also thought this was really cool. A few years back, Mel Kiper released his list of the top 10 quarterback prospects of all time. I want to see if there's been any over the last couple of years that maybe we should add to this list. And
Can I guess?
there were a couple Cleveland Browns on that list. I will have you guess on that. We'll do our time up when we return. I've got mock drafts of the past. Not too much on the movie side of things, but that's all right. We'll get to that coming up with us. And time up, stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Follow us. We're up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on Twitch at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow all across that. We got time hop. We got it next. Let's jump into it. A little bit of time up here on the 7th of March. Let's see what we got, including 1 year ago today. Giants probably don't like this day. They signed Danny Dimes to a 4-year, $160 million deal. Bad idea for the New York Giants 1 year ago today. Remember when Tannenbaum was, just trade Deshaun Watson there. We'll pick up Danny Dimes. No, we're not doing that. You got to be sure, man. And there's always, I think, a little leap of faith that you got to have. But did you question when the Bengals gave Joe Burrow that money? No. Even did you question Jalen Hurts when they gave him that money? No. I don't even question Trevor Lawrence. I don't question Jalen Hurts. I know they had rough years, but I see enough to go, that's worth it. Danny Dimes, I'm sitting on my couch, and I was like, nah, bad idea. And it's this race, man. It's this race of if you don't have one, you're searching for one, you're fighting against these other teams to get one. I could have told you Danny Dimes wasn't going to be it. And then they let Saquon Barkley leave now, too? They're in a bad spot. What was the last quarterback that you saw get a deal that you're like, that was a bad idea? It's tough because Danny Dimes is, you know, top of mind.
Outside of Danny Dimes,
like Dak Prescott has lived up to his deal. Kyler Murray was one that I was like,
he's been hurt.
I know.
But no, he was really good.
I know. Russell Wilson obviously didn't work there for the deal that he got in Denver.
At the time, I thought, okay.
That, you know, it's so funny, right? Because at the time, everybody was applauding it. Everybody was applauding what the Deshaun Watson deal for the Browns. Was anybody really applauding when they gave that money to Daniel Jones? I don't think so. Now they're stuck with him. What are you going to do with him? I thought this was interesting. Odds 1 year ago today of Shohei Ohtani's next deal, it was set at $499.5 million. So he slammed the over on that. The Dodgers were the favorite, by the way, and they cashed. Guardians were 25-1. 25-1. We got some new blue seats. Come on over, Shohei. Let's do it. I do think it is cool how they redid the schedule that you get to see him every other year come to Cleveland. Because now he's in the National League. It would have been something different there, but the over-under was set at just $500 million, and he obviously crushed that. This day, 2022, I mentioned it, the NFL suspended Calvin Ridley for the season for betting on games. Do you feel like the NFL has made their point well enough? And I'm not saying they should reduce suspensions or anything, and they've got this new system now where the first one isn't so bad. You got to be a repeat offender. But I felt like they came out hot and heavy on Calvin Ridley to try to make an example out of him. And do you think the NFL's okay with their betting? Do you think that they've made their point and that it's not the issue that some people thought it was going to be?
Probably. I mean, we still see some people getting suspended here and there now, but
right. But they got this new system of the tiers and stuff, and you got to be multiple times. I get it. I was never one that felt like it was going to be a big problem. I would go to these players and just say, be smart. You can bet as much as you want on other games, but think about the money. On the veteran minimum of hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not going to get that betting. You'd have to be a professional gambler. You'd have to be a professional sports gambler. And especially the top level guys. They don't even mess with it. But the allure is there, and you get on your phone. What story did I just hear? Was it a college kid? And they exposed him, and they were like, he was making hundreds of bets a day. Yeah. You remember that story? It was recent. The college kids are the ones you got to worry about. But I think they got their point across. All right, Ryan, this is what you wanted to do. So I want to preface it by saying this. This list came out from Mel Kiper in 2021. So this day, 2021, Mel Kiper released his list of the top 10 quarterback prospects of all time.
Well, I know exactly why that was released that year.
Why?
It's Trevor Lawrence.
Well, Trevor Lawrence. So again, he could be on this list, but it's like CJ Stroud is not on this list, right? Guys that are recently drafted since then. But do you want to guess the top 10? And this is Mel's observation. 10. Go ahead.
So, can you just what year was the earliest one on that list?
I would tell you,
how far back did we go? All time?
80s. I will tell you this: of all of these 10, there's only one that you might not have ever heard of.
Okay.
All the rest of them are borderline Hall of. A lot of these guys are in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So there's your other hint, and.
I'm ready to start.
I would say your lifetime. I'll give you another hint. All of these guys played during my lifetime. Okay. Not necessarily yours, but all of these guys were in the NFL playing during my lifetime.
So, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go kind of backwards in time. So, Trevor Lawrence. Andrew Luck.
That is correct. 2. There's 10, so you got 2.
Did he put Baker on there?
No.
Okay. I didn't think he would have, but that's fine.
And again, think about it as a draft guy, like exactly like Trevor Lawrence. This guy is coming out of college, and he's gonna be it, man.
Cat's pajamas.
This is the guy.
All right, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is correct.
Well, you said most of them are in the Hall of Fame, right?
Most of them, but not all.
Are some busts?
Yes.
Josh Rosen.
No.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be it for sure.
I don't want to give you a hint. Go ahead.
Okay. Back to the 80s. Wow. Elway? Alex Smith?
No. Good guess, though.
Jared Goff?
Nope. There's only one other guy that's around this time, and then I can tell you to move further back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if I said it's not Josh Rosen, it's the other Josh, you would say.
Josh Allen?
Josh Allen is
Okay.
correct. So now start skewing a little older.
Older?
So again, of recency, Lawrence, Andrew Luck, Josh Allen, you got those guys. And
Okay.
you already said Peyton.
Okay. Vince Young?
No.
Wow.
Even older than that.
Oh.
Not much, but like keep going that way.
Wow.
Nothing of that era. Nothing of those, not Leinart, not Vince Young, not any of those guys in that middle there. Keep going back a little further.
Wow. Okay.
So you got 5. There's 5 more to go.
Steve Young?
No. Wait, what are the 5 that you said? Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck.
And did I give you another one?
Yeah, I thought you did. Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Josh Allen. Did you say John Elway?
Yeah.
John.
that's the one I
Those are your
said.
5. Okay.
Okay. Troy Aikman?
Troy Aikman is 6. There's another guy on this list. Has a strong tie to Peyton Manning.
Leaf?
Ryan Leaf. Because Mel thought they were, and everybody thought they were both going to be everything.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that Ryan Leaf is here. So we have 3 more to go.
3 more? Okay. And this doesn't go past. Oh, you said they all played in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sam Bradford?
No.
Oh, that's probably too early.
Yeah, too early. One I know you're not going to get. There's one I know you're probably not going to get. 2 other ones, potentially.
This might be too early as well, but Jamarcus Russell?
Even before that. These guys are all 80s. These guys are all in college in the 80s.
Okay. Dan Marino?
No. Good one, though, but no.
Wow. 80s. Man, I want to get this. I mean, that's too late for Bradshaw.
Yeah, not that far ago.
Okay.
Not that. Do you want their colleges?
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, one of the guys, and this is the one that I don't think you're going to get, but we'll see. He was drafted in 1990 out of the University of Houston. I don't think you're going to get it. I'm sorry. I don't know.
What is it?
Andre Ware. You remember
Yeah.
Andre Ware?
I wouldn't.
Okay, Andre Ware. All right, next up, this guy was drafted in 1993, first overall out of Washington State. He very famously lost his job in the NFL.
Drew Bledsoe?
Drew Bledsoe is correct. There you go. And the final one, 1983, so it goes way back, to Miami of Florida. Very clearly a tie with Bernie Kosar. And he's most famously known for going to a lot of Super Bowls but not winning them.
Jim Kelly?
Correct. So again, this is Mel Kiper's list.
He went back.
Yeah, he did. So Mel's been doing this a long time, right? So again, this was Mel's list of the top 10 best quarterback prospects that he had ever seen. John Elway, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Trevor Lawrence, Jim Kelly, Andre Ware, Drew Bledsoe, Ryan Leaf, Troy Aikman, and Josh Allen. He put Tim Couch and Bernie as honorable mentions on that list of some of the best quarterback prospects that he ever seen. And memory serves me, I think Baker was an honorable mention on that list too.
I got to imagine.
For Mel Kiper.
You think Caleb Williams would be on that if he updated it?
So I was going to think about answering that question of guys that you believe since, like Joe Burrow. Well, no, wait a minute. He did this in 2021. Wouldn't Joe Burrow be eligible for that then?
Yeah, he would.
It's interesting he didn't put Burrow on there. See, I would think Caleb Williams. I don't think Bryce Young would have been on that list.
No.
CJ Stroud, maybe. And then who was the 2021? Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Duh. Who's 2022 then? Who am I missing in the 2022 draft? '22 was Vegas. Trayvon Walker, Hutchins. Yeah, there wouldn't have been a quarterback in there. Who was the first quarterback taken that year? Oh. I forgot.
What?
You know who the first quarterback taken in 22 was? You know. Why'd I be laughing like this?
Oh, Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Small hands, Ken Pickett. I don't think that would quite make the list there for Mel Kiper. This day, 2018, a PFF mock draft had the Browns taking Baker Mayfield at 1 and Derwin James at 4. Saquon Barkley gone. We would have taken Derwin James over Denzel.
Worked out with the Ward.
No, I would have. And I just saw this morning from PFF that Denzel Ward was the 85th best player in football last year. 85th. Out of all the positions, out of all the stats, Denzel Ward was the 85th best player in the NFL last season. Also this day, 2018, a report from Jeremy Fowler that said a small group of former Browns coaches held a fired coaches party at a restaurant during the NFL Combine.
That's crazy.
If you could go to a fired coaches party, who would you want? Greg would have to be there. Would you want Hugh there?
No.
Chud. I'd like Eric Mangini to show up. I don't know why. I always thought he was going to be really good here. Romeo, who
How
doesn't
far
want...
back can we go?
However we want, man. I'd love Romeo to be there.
Can we go Bill Belichick?
Yeah, sure. Bring him on in. He ain't doing anything. Cocktails on us.
Mike Patton seemed chill.
But I will tell you this, that when you say that, Mike Pettin was cool.
He looks really cool.
I've revisited and rethought a lot about Mike Pettin and his career here. I will tell you from the people that I know that got to spend time with Mike Pettin, he is a good dude. He really is. He's a chill dude. He gets it. Didn't work out here. Mike Pettin was a man of the people here. So I'd love Mike Pettin there. Frankly, I think he'd just be fun to have a couple beverages with. So Mike Pettin, I think, would be good. Anybody else? And to be head coach and be assistant coaches. I liked Ray Horton while he was here. Bring Joe Woods back. I like Joe. Thought he's cool. Mike Prefer tells stories from the war. Hell yeah. That'd be the party to be at. This day, 2017, Pete Prisco saying the Browns should give number 12 to the Patriots for Jimmy G, and then Jason La Canfora saying the Patriots would then take it. Now, 2017, what's the story on that?
That was Myles Garrett.
Who was the 12th overall pick?
Was that David?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
Because we traded back in this first round to take David Njoku and Jabril Peppers. I don't know if you'd be in any different spot right now if you would have taken Jimmy G. Jimmy G and A.J. McCarron were always those two guys that were just like always tied to the Browns. Jimmy G more than anybody. I mean, dude, that's going back, what is that? 7 years? 7 years we've been having the Jimmy G discuss. Not all consistently, but he's always been brought up for the Browns. This day, 2016, Peyton Manning officially announcing his retirement after going out with the Broncos.
After getting carried by his defense.
Yeah, I mean, he still won the championship, man. You still did. And what was it? Wasn't it that one that they just smoked the Seahawks? Wasn't that like 48-3 when they beat them? Am I forgetting that one?
No, they beat the Panthers.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
So then the Seahawks smoked the Broncos.
The Seahawks smoked the Broncos.
That's what it was. And then the Seahawks lost the next year.
Broncos came back next year and won. Broncos lost.
Right, because then what was the year Seattle lost to the Patriots on the interception? All right, I'm pulling it up. Hang on, stand by.
No, Seattle beat Denver.
Okay, this is what it is.
Seattle beat Denver.
2013, Seattle beat Denver 43-8. Then the next year, the Patriots beat the Seahawks. Then the next year, the Broncos beat the Panthers. Yeah. That's what it was. So you had a 3-year stretch where it was either the Broncos or the Seahawks in it the whole time. Then you went to the Atlanta collapse the next year for the Patriots. Then you had the Miracle Eagles beating the Patriots. Dude, oh my God.
Then you had that shit show that was the Rams Patriots.
Oh, 13-3. That's right. Nobody scored. Yeah, you're right. That's right. Goff. Yeah. That's right, man. That's right. How far away do we feel removed, man? Here's one for Cavs legend Austin Carr. This day, 1970, he set the NCAA tournament record by putting up 61 points for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They beat Ohio not Ohio State, the Bobcats, 112-82. AC was 25 out of 44 from the field and 11 out of 14 from the free throw line. No three-point arc at that time. Put up 61 an NCAA tournament record. This day, 1970, for one Austin Carr. This day, 1933, Monopoly was created and patented. Originally, the board was circular. I love Monopoly. Yeah. But you never play it. Like, the taxes, when my brothers and I were kids, we weren't going to do 10%, so we'd always just take $200 when you landed on that. Got to get Park Place. I always would start. The key to every Monopoly game is you have got to get the railroads. You got to get the railroads. They were easy to build on, and you could just smoke them. And eventually, as five boys would do in the young age, I don't think we were like 12, 10, and eventually the board was just getting flipped over, and we'd all have to pick stuff up and all that kind of stuff. But I like Monopoly. I like playing Monopoly. This day, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell, at the age of 29, patented the telephone. A little different in today's day and age where nobody calls anybody anymore, but you got it where it is. Happy birthday goes out to Steelers legend, Hall of Famer Franco Harris, Lynn Swann, Joe Carter, Bryan Cranston, Jenna Fisher, Laura Prepon, and Rachel Weisz. A very strong group of actresses there. Of course, Jenna Fisher, The Office. Laura Prepon, that 70s show, but we watched Orange is the New Black. Yeah. And then Rachel Weisz from The Mummy. Isn't she married to Daniel Craig?
Couldn't tell you.
Is that right? Am I thinking that right? She is, in fact, married to Daniel Craig. Going strong there, so congratulations to them. I'm not even going to guess on the movies today because they're just... This day, 2014, the 300 sequel, Rise of the Empire, came out. Poop. And I loved the first one. I'm a little ashamed to admit, Ryan, I went to go see 300 in the theaters 7 times. Jeez. I love that movie.
This is Sparta where
yeah, hell yeah. Gerard Butler, hell yeah. Then they made the sequel. Ass. It's so bad. And then this day, 1997, Howard Stern's Private Parts was released. Did you even know Howard Stern had a movie?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was a movie about his career and just him kind of doing his thing. He's the king of all media. He is the king of all media. Well, speaking of media, Ryan, let's get to our bracket of the week. We have our finals. East Side Bars. Here it is. Scorchers and Happy Moose takes it down. Yep. All right, let's have the discussion right now. We, over the next couple of weeks, are going to decide the best, well, at least us. It's not like it's an ironclad thing. Maybe we get a plaque for him and send him a plaque. The best bar in Cleveland. We're going to do East Side, then we're going to do South Side, Downtown, West Side, all that kind of stuff. The question is, Ryan, we could take these final 4 and just hold on to them until the final week. Or we run the finals tonight, have our winner of the week tomorrow, and then in the final week, we have our 4. We let that bracket run all week. What do you think? You like the second one?
I think we let the final one run all week.
Okay, so then we will post this tonight of our final 4 for the best East Side bar. That winner will advance to the finals in a couple of weeks, and we'll get geared up. We have South Side next week, right? We'll announce that again tomorrow. We'll get all of our votes for like Berea, Brunswick, Medina, anything down that way. Brecksville kind of counts. I'm trying to, like, when we do South Side, I can name you a bunch because Berea, the Oriole Cafe, Mike's Bar and Grill, Strongsville, a lot of good places in there.
Kent? Would you say Kent?
We could go down to Akron if you want. You want to do Southside / Akron? Or are we doing Cleveland only?
Yeah, maybe not that.
All right, let's see if we can fiddle up next week. We'll get to that coming up next week on our show as well for the best bar in Cleveland. Final thing, nice reminder for our boost tonight. Ryan Tipico using the code Fontana100. Deposit and bet $25. You get $100 in bonus bet. Grab our boost for tonight. This is the Cavs helper boost tonight. So we need the Nuggets to beat the Celtics. We need the Warriors to beat
The Bulls.
And then
the Mavericks to beat the Heat.
That's right. So we got that cooked up for you with our friends at Tipico. Download the app. Use that code Fontana100. Get signed up. Get those bonus bets and get rocking. The other thing I really am going to be excited for, Ryan, a little bit of NHL playoffs around the corner. Start getting some bets in on that. Do you want to do UFC tomorrow too? Well, I guess the Cavs play tomorrow night, so we shouldn't. Maybe I'll send. You know what? Maybe I'll find it. I'd like to do a special boost Saturday the UFC fight. You and I both like UFC. Who do you want, O'Malley or Cheeto?
I don't really care. O'Malley's kind of cocky.
I hate Sean O'Malley.
I know you do.
I can't stand him. So I think I hope Cheeto Vera wins. So maybe we'll do a little boost on that for this weekend with the UFC and get geared up. I believe Noah Weiskopf is booked for us for tomorrow. Noah's on the gambit this week, man. I saw him on a couple different podcasts. He was on Big Play Cleveland on Monday. But really, Noah had a tweet yesterday. Let's see if we can find it. Browns with Noah is his Twitter handle and IG from the OBR. So here's his latest tweet from yesterday, the latest on Flacco. Conversations regarding money and Flacco's potential new contract at the Browns have yet to be discussed, according to his sources. But it will happen within the coming days. I'm told Flacco and his representatives are open to agreeing to a deal as soon as possible, despite the reports saying he's going to test free agency, meaning a deal could very well become before the legal tampering period opens on Monday. The Browns did meet with Flacco's reps at the Combine. Talks were productive, and I'm told it's clear the Browns want him back, and Flacco wants to remain with the Browns. It's all laid up, man. I just think it's interesting. Again, I'm not trying to crap on Joe Flacco. He's willing to sign a deal before he even sees what his market value is, because probably maybe the market value isn't what he thought it was, or there are not going to be a lot of teams out there. It's a negotiation, man. There's millions of dollars on the line here, okay? I get the game. I know the game. I see the game. It is what it is. I got to tell you this, and we'll discuss this with Noah tomorrow. I'm shocked the Browns are willing to be so open and be like, yes, come on back. I thought they'd be a little more analytical about this. I thought they'd be a little more, trying to play the game a bit here. They're all in. They're all in. Do you think we'll have a deal before tomorrow? Do you think it's trending that way, that we're going to have a deal for Joe Flacco before the weekend?
No.
No, you think it's going to open? All right. Well, we'll get that certainly thoughts with Noah coming up on tomorrow's show. A lot more geared up as well.
Just a little tidbit. I know it's still very early in the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yeah.
But Justin Lauer, second place.
All right, Cleveland's own. He's been friend of show.
And this comes right off the heels of a top 3 finish.
And I'll tell you this, man. The Arnold Palmer's an invitational. They actually have another tournament going on for guys that don't make it into that. Justin Lauer's on his way to maybe getting to the freaking Masters, man.
Tied for second with
Good for him.
Tied for second with Matsuyama.
There you go. Justin Lauer, Canal Fulton, friend of show. Well, friend of the station.
Luke List right now leads with 4 under.
All right. They're early out there, too. I love Thursdays because I basically am a stay-at-home dad when I leave here. So I have my baby or the baby all day. And I just sit there on Thursday.
I'm going to go tune in and watch
golf. I just watch golf all morning. It's great.
Got to go support.
I don't know. Here's my schedule. This is my dad's schedule. Mondays and Tuesdays, Parks and Rec are on all day on IFC. So I watch Parks and Rec until 3 o'clock. Then we go pick up our son. Wednesdays are my weird day. I've got nothing to... There was nothing on TV yesterday to watch. So I queued up Batman. You know how that goes. Then Thursday and Friday, I can watch golf. And sometimes there's some other stuff on. But I'm ready to go. So we'll get geared up. Good luck to Justin on there. Friend of Big Play there. All right, great stuff. Any shows for us tonight? No? I think No Boobies World tonight? Nothing? We got
I think tonight might be the premiere.
The premiere of Cincinnati. Is it on Thursdays? All right.
I believe so.
Okay, our new show with the Bengalorian and Drew Garrison, Big Play CIN show, Big Play Sin show.
I want to say
Twitter.
8 o'clock.
All right, cool. Catch that on Big Play. Just follow us on Big Play. It's the easiest place to do it. You see all the shows, you see all the clips. Appreciate everybody's support very much. Back for Friday edition again. No Weiskopf tomorrow to talk more of this Flacco stuff. We'll talk to you then. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.